Welcome to Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money.
Welcome everybody to Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your money and your mindset and maximize your money. I am your host for today, attorney Nicole Compton, and today's topic is super heavy, but it's a necessary one to discuss. So the sudden passing of Chef Quita Cole, who openly expressed her exhaustion on social media, is a tragic reminder just of the hidden cost of the hustle culture. So this culture, especially for Black women in corporate America and as business owners, has a way of draining us emotionally and physically, all while pushing us to keep going. We're here today to have a real conversation about why hustle culture is so dangerous, how it manipulates us, and why we need to redefine our value without the burnout. So let's talk about how we can break free from the cycle of exhaustion and prioritize our rest, our health, and our peace. And so I can't do this alone. I'm here with a wonderful crew. So I have with me today Joe Corley, I have Marlo, and I have Miss Black Hollywood herself, Tiara, and we are going to get into this. But first, I want everybody to have a chance to say hi and say a little bit.
Okay. Well,
So,
hey,
Tiara.
hey, everybody. Hey, everybody. I'm so excited to have this conversation. Yep.
Yeah. Marlo, how are you doing today?
I'm great. A little bit tired, but I guess
a little tired.
The right time at the right time.
How timely. We're going to talk about that too. How are you doing today, Joe?
I'm happy and whole. How y'all feeling?
Come on.
Doing okay. We maintain it, and we're gonna come out of today with some tips on how to feel even better than what we started with. So I want to say thank you to the Fly Nubian family for being here today, and let's get into this. Get into this. So y'all saw the little the thumbnail for today. Let's talk about kind of, I guess, what are you all's sentiments? What did Chef Quita Cole's passing kind of reveal about us and hustle culture?
Well, I think for me, I was really, obviously I saw this story and I was just like, wow, I can resonate with being tired, just saying like, oh, I need a break. I need to take a break, but no, I have so many things to do. Just being ambitious and working hard and feeling like that is synonymous with being an entrepreneur and a Black woman. I'd be tired. I just flew in from Miami last night. I was there at the Economic Elevation Summit with Dr. Boyce. And literally when I got off the plane, it was on to the next. I had to drop Lauren off. I had to do this, had to do that, get ready for today and this week. And just feeling like, but I'm tired. So I think sometimes we just, it's a reminder, like making sure that you're checking in with yourself for real and making sure that your body can handle all the things that your mind wants to do.
Joe, I want to know what your thoughts are. Being the line of work that you do and all the people that you help with, mindset and therapy. how do you synthesize this?
Well, like I said, I always set myself in understanding what the perspective is for, the entire perspective. I look at this situation and I say, well, that makes sense. You know what I mean? Black women are socialized to be labor machines, and it's rooted in survival. So, I mean, I'm not just saying that to perform or nothing like that. I mean, I witness and observe it in my practice on a consistent basis. The survival and just overworking yourself and constantly being available not only for yourself but for other people, and usually last on the list is yourself. um so, and for me personally, you know what I mean, I'm busy, I'm really busy, but I gain a lot of energy from what it is that I do. If I felt like I was falling short in what I do, like when I'm talking to somebody and I'm just sitting there talking about, well, I hope it get better for you. You know what I mean? You know, leave him. You know what I mean? Like whatever.
Right.
Then I don't feel like I'm talking in a way that leads to healing. I would probably be drained, more drained. But I really feel like there's purpose in what I'm doing, so I gain energy from it.
Marlo, mama, mogul, athlete, doing all the things. You came on saying that you were tired.
But I also prioritize rest. I am a full stop. I worked in corporate. I still work in corporate. And I also have always done freelance work or had my own extra stream of income. And I always prioritize rest. There was a time for about 10 years I didn't do that. I worked, missed out on family stuff, didn't feel like I was giving my kids everything that they needed. And, I just stopped. At the end of the day, they're going to hire somebody else. Your client's going to hire somebody else. And you're going to leave a void for the people that really love you and the people that are really cheering you on and providing a support system that sometimes feels invisible because you're so busy on go. So I felt really bad for her. And I hope that people can, ease up a little bit. I know it's hard, but I wish that everybody could take their pedal off the gas a little bit, and just enjoy life. Life is to be lived, and it's about experiences. And sometimes you miss out on that while you're trying to get this imaginary money, right? We made that shit up. We made it up. We invented it. So while we
got the dream,
these coins, these imaginary coins that somebody created that we all chase, you're missing out on the really important moments that make you whole, as Joe said.
Well, for me, this topic it hit home because this morning I found out that one of the moguls and icons, a Black woman who has a international legacy and hundreds of people following her, passed away. And she did pass away from exhaustion. She fell asleep in her car while she was driving home. This is the woman who does all the things. And so for me, not just being an attorney, but being a motivational speaker and a professional trainer who works with business owners, this is one of my topics that's sacred, because Black women, especially, we are expected to be powerhouses and always never have a weak moment. And we're strong for everybody else and never prioritizing our rest and ourselves like we should. So this one's gonna be a doozy. Fly Nubian Money family. I am glad that you're here with us. Happy Mother's Day a day later to those of you all who are mothers that are watching. I want to go to our first video. Let's take a look at this. Tell me what you think.
Oh, what's happening with y'all, man? It's Lotus Music, Fresh Prince of the Ville, Fresh Prince of the World, and I'm here with
Quita, QC, whichever one you want to call me.
Okay. I see we at a restaurant right now, man. What do you do for a living?
I own this restaurant. It's QC Kitchen, 615 downtown, 319 Peabody Street.
Okay. So what made you want to become a serial entrepreneur / restaurant owner?
I've always cooked. I've always liked to cook. Don't like taking orders from people, so it was only right for me to have my own business.
Say less. So what does the saying, put the work in, mean to you?
Put that work in, and you see. QC Kitchen number 2 coming soon.
Hello, yeah, number 2. Hey, so why don't you give the people your social media handle so they can come get them a plate from QC Kitchen?
QC Kitchen 615 on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.
You don't got Snapchat?
No. I got a Snapchat, but not a QC Kitchen Snapchat.
For sure, man. Hey, yo, thank you for taking the time to talk to me, and make sure you guys go get you a plate from QC Kitchen, man. Let's go. Perfect.
Man. So you can see that it looks like her business was booming. I never got the opportunity to eat there, but it makes me wonder, was it worth it? I know being a business owner and being able to see the fruits of your labor and, you know, helping people and solving people's problems and then making the money while you're doing it. I mean, it is a great feeling. And many people leave corporate America thinking they're going to start a business because they're going to sip lattes on the beach and not work but an hour a day. But that, you know, I feel like that's a dream that we've been sold. I think there's also the societal issues of the rest of the world thinking that we're lazy in the Black community. So we're going to think about that. Let's think about that, because that's going to be the first topic that we're going to hit on. Let's go to a quick commercial break.
Woo! It's a good show right here. But I'm biased. If you are just tuning in, you are watching Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. My name is Tiara Williams. I'm also known as Miss Black Hollywood, and I'm the proud producer of this show because it is lit. If you want to receive notifications for when we go live Monday through Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All you have to do is text the word Queens to 87948. That's Queens to 87948. That's QUEENS to 87948. Also, if you want to grow your money and not blow your money, all you have to do is go to flynubianmoney.com. There's all kinds of resources, there's courses, there's free giveaways. There's just no reason to be broke in 2025. All you have to do is go to flynubianmoney.com. Obviously, you don't want to be entertained here. You want to know enough to grow. Wait, I need to put that on a shirt. You got to know to grow. Got to know to grow. So know and grow with flynubianmoney.com.
Okay, so we're back and we're talking about being a business owner and how Chef Quita Cole ended up passing away right after she expressed how exhausted she had been on social media. And so we saw an interview of her, one of her business, and she was looking to start business number 2. So, you know, Fly Nubian Money audience, I want y'all to chime in. I want to know what you all thought about the video, but I also, you know, I want to pose it to you guys. Like, it looks like she was really accomplished. It looks like that she was shaking and moving, and on the outside looked like she was going in all the right directions, especially, you know, tempering that with how society tries to say black businesses or Black people are in general. What are y'all's takes on the video and the interview that we saw?
Well, I want to start with just saying, like, her being a restaurant owner makes me wonder if they had like fries and grits and chips and whatever was being served there. It didn't look like a vegan restaurant. So I wonder if she was treating her body well. Like, I want to know ultimately, like, I want to know more. Obviously, you're absolutely right. She's like, expanding. Let's expand. We're doing well here. Let's do, you know, we talked about Pinky Cole a couple of weeks ago about how it's like you got a food truck and then it's like, let me have 50,000 locations because that is what society tells us to do. That's what the glow up is. But I wonder if on the flip side of that, she was taking care of herself. I mean, I think obviously the answer is probably no. Her treating herself the right way. If she was, you know, kind of just being mindful of the things she was putting in her body. And if it was like, I'm gonna just eat these fries or this burger or this chicken or whatever, on top of staying up late nights and working long hours and, you know, just sacrificing. So I think that's what comes to mind, especially with her being a restaurant owner, is I wonder how good was she taking care of herself?
And your body, you need proper nutrition and rest. I hate to hear people say, I'm asleep when I'm rich, or sleep is for the rich, or whatever nonsense people tell you to avoid sleeping. Sleeping is for your mind. Sleeping is how your body resets. Sleeping is when your body does an assessment of itself and figures out what needs to be healed, what is problematic. I think that we, again, because of the stigma of Black people being lazy, right? This perception that that was put upon us. It's never been true, obviously, right? Toiling in fields and all of that crap, and building all the
built
things
this
that we
thing.
built.
Yeah.
Right.
We
Well,
can't
I'm
be
back.
lazy and build the
It's not
country at the
true.
same time.
But I think it is subconsciously still in Black people's minds, right? I know people grew up with grannies. Your granny ain't letting you sleep in on Saturday, even though you ain't got to school. You got to get up. You have to be doing something when you are a Black person.
Yep.
And I think that combined with hustle culture makes us ignore our bodies. We already don't go to the doctor enough. We already don't take care of our health until there is a problem, right? Until we get a diagnosis, then we want to eat healthy. Then we want to think about prioritize rest, people. Go to sleep at night. It helps you. It helps you be more cognizant. Rest your brains, please.
Yes, well, and it doesn't really matter what she ate. I think, Marlo, you're right. It doesn't matter, even if she ate a fry here and there.
It matters.
Even if she was completely, health conscious about everything else. If you don't get the rest, it doesn't matter. Stress, whether you know it or not, stress is the #1 killer. It's not necessarily heart disease or cancer, all of that, because if your body's functioning, those things are less likely to even come into play.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's, I wonder, okay, can I ask, let me ask Joe a question. So I know for me, when I first became an entrepreneur, I thought that if you were sleeping, it was like you got to be up grinding 23 hours of the 24 hours. And you look on, I remember I used to put statuses up on internet, you get on the internet at 2 a.m. You like, where are all the millionaires at grinding? And what do you say about that mentality, and how can we kind of shift the way we're thinking about grind culture? Because there's only a certain amount of energy. What I learned from reading is like, you have a certain amount of energy every day. That's it. You don't have time. You have energy. That is your greatest resource. And so I wonder, hold on. I wonder if that is the case, like, how can we approach, and Nicole, please add to it, but how can we approach this differently, knowing that we only have a certain amount of energy to give to certain things?
See, but that's the thing. Millionaires and billionaires, I know Elon Musk aside, because he says he sleeps 2 or 3 hours and he's always doing 5 things at one time. Realistically, what is happening is they are putting the ones who are successful, and what we should be modeling is putting the systems in place. I did a training the other day, and we were talking about how if you look at entrepreneurs' schedule, it's got all these things on it from the time they get up to the time they go to bed. But if you really took it and you distilled it down on what actually moved the needle and had an ROI to it, they were wasting time. They were spending 3 hours looking on Instagram because they got sucked in when they went to make a post about their business, or doing all this research that they couldn't really use to make $1 from it. And so part of it is we got to be strategic. I know everybody may not be a Christian. I'm a believer. Even God, Almighty God, said, I'm going to take the 7th day and do what? Rest. Right. And if we're created in his image, we're not meant to work 365, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. We're not.
So what's the mental shift? Shift, Joe?
The mental shift.
I want to know from a mental health standpoint. I want to know from Joe.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
What is the mental health shift that we have to make? Just because because does that make, I claim I'm like, America's making us mentally ill. Period. Right? Like the culture of it, society is making us. So how do we undo that? How do we unlearn that, Joe?
So first, I'm always telling people to understand where you get this stuff from before you can try to start healing, and you got to accept kind of, where it came from. Think about what you just said. I want to work all hard, and sleeping is for losers and all these other things.
Right.
Where you adapted those concepts from, right? Historically, especially if you want to survive just in corporate spaces. The history of what I tell you about black women being labor machines is weaponized against you. And
Mm.
oh, you're told over and over again, you have to work 2-3 times as hard to be seen as equal, right? And you're thinking, I know some people are saying, well, that's true. That's true. Okay.
Mm.
Well, where did we come up with that? Where did we come up with that? You know, that you have to work 2 and 3 times as hard to be seen as equals for what Marlo just said is made up money, right?
Yeah.
And that's where the shift happens. You have to think and learn and listen, kind of just what Marlo just said. This stuff is made up. This is what
Well,
you're told. Your history's been weaponized against you. You've been told over and over and over and over again. But there are certain spaces, you know, and then we take that corporate mindset and then we pull it into our entrepreneurial spaces. And then like this woman here, you think, oh, I have to overwork it in order to be successful. You know what I mean? But in honesty, none of that is actually true. It might seem like it's true, and you might be looking at me right now like I got 3 heads because I'm saying it's not true, but it's not. You're doing all that work for what? What are you obtaining when you do all that work? What are you doing? Are you getting a nice house, a nice car? Are these the things that you value, or do you just have them and be like just to say I have them and they're nice? You know
I
what I
know
mean?
I think it's societal. I know with me, my mom always told me you got to do twice as much to get half as much because you're a black person and you're a woman. You are starting out at a deficit. And so I think we carry that. I think the mindset shift happens when you realize, when you know better, you do better, you grow. And when you start exploring and you're introduced to, well, that's not really how they do this. When you see the commercial with it used to be the Rice Krispie commercial where the mom made up some Rice Krispies and threw a whole bunch of flour in her face. And it was like, whoa, I done did all of this just for y'all. I think that's the dream they sell us, not really saying that there is another way. And we are creative people that can figure it out. There's actually some stats that show just what you said, Joe. Like there's a study from the National Women's Law Center that found that Black women in the workforce are more likely to face higher stress and burnout due to the double burden of racial and gender discrimination, with 73% reporting emotional fatigue that was related to work. That is, I can tell you, I remember when I was just quoting my mom, I'm thinking about law school. I went to law school as a teen mom with a kid on my, a kid, and I'm trying to have to figure out how I can sneak and work and do full time to graduate with 2 degrees when all my white counterparts walked across the stage with 1, because I had it ingrained. I gotta do double. I gotta be way better just to get half. And I don't want half. I want whole, or I want more than what they have.
Yeah.
Why
Let's take a minute before
y'all. There are pieces of y'all that feel guilty or unproductive or lazy when you're resting.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So
let's
go. I'm sorry. I'm gonna finish my thought.
No. I was about to say, I want you to finish your thought, but we're gonna hit a commercial after you finish, so everybody can think about what you're asking, because I think it's good to go ahead.
Cool. So that's me saying that without even knowing, there is an internalized trauma that comes along with growing up as a Black woman, and you say, well, I'm not traumatized, but that method of thinking is a byproduct of the trauma that you suffer, feeling like you don't get to rest or you don't deserve to rest. So I'm just asking you, do you feel guilty? I'm just asking the chat too. Do you feel guilty because you're not resting, or do you feel lazy or unproductive, which is leading to this type of burnout when you take a rest?
That's a great question. We're gonna go to commercial on that question. Y'all pontificate on that, and we'll be right back.
Pontificate.
I know you're busy, you got things to do, and you can't take us on the go with you every single day. Good news for you. We are now on Spotify. So if you can't watch us, now you can listen to us on Spotify. Search Fly Nubian Money and all the episodes shall appear. All you have to do is like, subscribe, leave a 5-star rating, leave some comments, tell people how you love us, so that when other people come along and are looking for a great show to watch, they can find Fly Nubian Money too. One last thing, and just in case you've been sitting under a rock, Fly Nubian Money now has an investment club. We are the Fly Nubian Money Club. It's easy. All you have to do is go to flynubianmoneyclub.com, and I am committed to bringing in top experts from all industries to help you level up. They're teaching us the skills that we need to compete in this market. We often say that nobody is coming to save us, not the government, but guess what? We're coming to save us. I'm coming to save you with the Fly Nubian Money Club. So listen, all you have to do again is go to flynubianmoneyclub.com. We have a 30-day free trial set up just for you, just for those people that are struggling. Even if you ain't struggling, you ain't got to struggle. I'm coming. Okay, let me stop playing. I'll see you soon.
Woo! So welcome back. Like, Joe, you asked the question before we went out about, is it a feeling of laziness? And all of you in the chat, let us know, like, is that how you all are feeling? Are you feeling like if you rest, that you miss something, that you're lazy, that you're not going to be able to accomplish the goal and you're really set back? I know for me, I remember my husband sent me a video, and the video was a woman. She was on stage and she was like, I've done all the things. I push, I do this, I do that. And it wasn't until she got married and her spouse said, hey, sit down. He was like, sit your butt down. I need you to rest because I can't have you dead. You've done all the things. Let it play out. At some point, you got to enjoy life. And I saw somebody said in the chat, get rich or die trying. That is really why and how we push. I know for me, I feel lazy at times. But as a person diagnosed with a chronic illness, I have no choice. If I don't sit my butt down, my body is going to shut down. And I'd rather be the one in control to take that day off. And I realized afterwards that, I'm clear. I can get back on track. And I gained the momentum I lost from taking a nap or taking a day off and just doing nothing. Marlo?
I used to. I have freed myself of those feelings. If I'm not doing nothing, that's absolutely fine. I've actually trained myself to ask myself, am I busy? Or am I being busy?
Productive.
Right? Am I busying myself because I don't want somebody to be like, what you doing? And I'm, girl, nothing. Right? Or am I really busy because I'm working toward a goal? Am I really busy because I'm working to get something accomplished? So I always have a little task sheet with a few things on it that absolutely need to do so that I could get into the next day. But I have freed myself of this, from the time I wake up to the time I go to sleep. I'm just busy. A lot of times, look, I know a lot of busy ass people that don't get anything accomplished. You ask them for something, they forget to send it to you. You need something from them, they're out of pocket. You're trying to communicate with them, they don't know what you're talking about because they have too much going on. So I think
all over the place.
Yeah, for me, it has been really, I've been able to focus and I've just been able to be in a calculated way, get things done that I need to get done, not busy work, not working ahead of myself, not trying to do so much just so somebody be like, oh, she always busy. People's opinions of me no longer matter. And because of that, I'm able to work smarter, not harder. And I pray that everybody gets to a place where smarter, not harder is the mindset that they approach in terms of work. Because like I said in the beginning, if you drop dead, then what?
Right.
If you like
step over your body and keep going.
If you like our chef who's the topic, right? What happens to your restaurant? What happens to the legacy that you're building, right? Where does all of that go when you die? And I think that if people start thinking about it, in more realistic terms, people will have happier life outcomes.
Most people I know from teaching entrepreneurship in law and working with founders and incubators and doing trainings, that most people never think about their mortality. So nobody wants to do estate planning. But then there's business succession planning, which is planning for your business to succeed you. So if you get sick and you need a day off, or if you need to take a month off because you had to have surgery, or you pass away, who's next in line? Who's doing X, Y, and Z to make sure that the business keeps going? And then all your hard work that you just passed away for is for naught. I wanted to say shout out to Lala, one of our hosts, because today she wasn't feeling well. So Lala was like, I need self-care. I need to take a break. Let me rest my voice. I'll be back, but I'm there with y'all. So hey, Lala, we love you and thank you for being an example on exactly what we're talking about today. And we don't know why we're talking about the chef code. We don't know why she passed away.
She just didn't wake up. She didn't wake up.
She was exhausted.
She didn't wake up.
I think she was exhausted. I think her body kept telling her, and she told us on social media, and then she passed. We have another video. Let's, because we're talking about the sudden passing of Chef Quita Cole today. So let's look at the next video.
For the last couple of days on social media, I saw something about a young lady, I believe her name was Quita Cole, who passed away in Tennessee. She was a chef that had her own restaurant. Sometimes, I just hate going up under comments, but one thing I noticed, people were talking about how she was posting and she was like, she needed her rest. She was tired. I guess just like, just overworking herself and exhaustion. And I'm not saying that this is her case. Disclaimer, I'm not saying this is her case. But when I was looking at all that, it made me think about how I've met so many people. Like doing Lyft, and they'll say, I've been up for 24 hours. I've been up such and such, but I still can't go to sleep. I will sleep when I'm dead. No, that's literally what will happen if you don't give your body the rest that it's calling for. We got to get unconditioned from working hard, no rest.
Wow.
Man, you know what's so interesting is that I was at the Economic Elevation Summit over the weekend, and one of the speakers his name is Errol Semengal, and Errol talked about selling options as an option, like the stock market, selling options. And he said he worked 30 minutes on Monday and 30 minutes on Friday. And that was it. And the rest of his life he enjoyed. Now, he did all of the work to learn and know what he's doing and built a capital base and all of the things, kept his day job for years and did the side hustles. But now in his 40s, he just works for an hour. And it really like shifted my mindset. And I mean, he was probably next to Dr. Boyce in the room, probably the one with the most money next to Dr. Boyce, right? And he learned from Dr. Boyce. But I just thought that was so interesting that you said something, Nicole, about us just working harder instead of working smarter, us finding those strategies that other people are using to become successful, as opposed to like just you thinking we always got to use our hands and always got to be like actually going and doing hours and hours and hours of work. I don't know. I was like, that sounds.
It's actually smarter, not harder.
It's smarter, not harder.
Right now, what I'm working on is really learning how to be the puppet master for ChatGPT, how to do the prompts where I can I'm all about automation. I know I can't do all the things. I wish I could clone me 5 times, but I don't think the world's ready for that. And so learning how simple things like batching your emails and reading all your emails at one time, putting the autoresponder that says on there, I respond within 24 hours, or I respond at this time of the day, and sticking to that. Stop trying to, go from one thing and do another and have all the, the arms going and really, really doing it. I'm curious, all of us on the panel, and I'm sure in the chat, many of you own businesses. Like, I'm curious to know, had you already come to some kind of revelation that I can do this, I can work smarter and not harder? And what are some of the things that you had a shift in your belief about work and success and how to get things accomplished that even allowed you to start thinking like that?
I think at this point, like, Marlo got the game and Joe got the therapy. So I think I'm the only one that probably still struggles with just feeling like I got to get it done. And not only that, just wanting to partner with people. I mean, I think everybody at this point on this panel knows that it's like, you want to do an event? You want to do a thing? Let's do a thing. Let's write a script. Let's write a book. Like, I'm the one that's going to be the helper, right? So it's not just trying to like extend my hand. So I don't think I personally found the balance of that, but I do rest. Like I do take time, I guess. I rest ish.
And I will attest, because Tiara was my least rested friend. If we circle back maybe 5-7 years ago, she definitely was on my watch list. Like, girl, when the last time you napped? Why you up so early when we would travel together, right? Because she embodies hustle culture. So I would say kudos to you, T, because you have definitely dialed it back. You are vacationing. When she tells me she vacationing, I'm like, oh Lord, everybody need to go on a vacation if this girl is vacationing. So I will say, she is a work horse. I think for me, it's really streamlining, right? What are the things, the repetitive, nasty tasks that I don't want to do? How can I get that stuff out of the way as quickly as possible? How can I automate that? And then the things that really require my brain juice and I really have to like dig in and think and strategize and figure out, I get into that. But I think everybody knows their own industry, right? So my man who works, 2 hours out the day, kudos to him. Finance ain't my game though. So I can't do that, right? So if I want to work 2 hours a day, I have to figure out how to do that within the scope of what I do. I think sometimes we look at what other people do and we're like, how can I apply that to my life? You can't, because you don't sell whatever he's selling, stocks, trades. I don't know none of that stuff. But you're not doing what he's doing, but you have to figure out a way to do it so that you can prioritize rest, right? Many people have a lot of money. They gave their kids everything that they thought their kids wanted. You sit down, you have a conversation with their kids. The kids say they feel neglected. Why? Because you were in pursuit of money and neglecting the small things that matter, that build a child, that build self-esteem, that build relationships. So I don't agree with the notion that you can have it all. I think you got to pick what you want the most, right? And then prioritize everything after that. So I think it's a lot of mind shift. America has a mental illness, a collective mental illness with all of these little isms that we teach ourselves. And I think that we need to start breaking free of that, especially as our economy changes and we have whatever going on at the federal political level. Because I think in 10 years, this country isn't going to look the way that it looked 20 years ago.
Or today.
Right.
I think that, so days before Chef Quita Cole died, I mean, she was posting, she was saying, I'm tired, y'all. I'm tired. But she also felt like people were still pushing her to move forward. I think for me, one of the things that made me really look at and not be, here she is, 3 days. I need 3 days of rest. I'm taking off. Like that was only a couple of weeks ago. So she was to the point. She knew she needed to listen to her body. I think part of it with me that I realized, I had two best friends that passed away, and one was 34 when she passed away. She was tired when she left. And I had to realize what success meant for me. Do I want to do 40 hours a week? Do I have to make, $300,000 to feel like that I'm successful? Or can I make enough where I can travel and do the things I want to do and be financially set? I had to figure out what success meant to me. And what success means to me is non-traditional to what they try to push in society and on TV, and that, you gotta have a Bugatti and you need to be making sure that you went on this cruise this week and next week you're doing that and I only work an hour a week. For me, that's not working an hour a week. I don't even know if that's not even in my personality, because I like when I work. But
I mean, I think he does things, but I think he also was like, listen, I'm not going to somebody's office. Yeah, I'm not doing the things. But
when you said it, I wondered if the 30 minutes of work was working and doing the things that he really didn't want to do, while the rest of it, like, getting more training or reading another book, to him could be seen as leisure and not work, but that's still work.
Yeah. I mean, but he also has done all the research up until this point. So like him working with those different,
so he's earned that.
Point is, he's already, so at this point, he's just selling and trading and whatever, just going through the process of it. Joe, what do you say? Because I don't think I heard from you. What were your thoughts?
I listen to that and I say, it's rooted in fear, right? The whole hustle culture is just rooted in fear. It is what it is. And I think, we really have to pay attention to the stuff that Marlo's saying right now, because she's really dropping gems left and right, right?
Mm-hmm.
basically saying that, you know, it is a mental illness and it is rooted in fear and it is a trauma response. And, you know, a lot of terms have been made up and weaponized against our women, you know, black girl magic and secure the bag and girl power, girl boss, and all of these things that encourage you to work harder as if, you know, rest is some type of reward for doing all those things, when in actuality rest is your right, it's your god-given right, your birthright. It shouldn't be a reward for you.
Right.
It's what you should be doing. So the mindset shift comes in when you start recognizing that that is the purpose, that is the goal, not all these other things that you're working for and striving to achieve, because you're just creating burnout for yourself. The real flex is, you know what I'm saying, refusing to let society, especially like social media, dictate your peace or or the pace that you're working at, or even your priorities. You shouldn't be allowing these things to happen. When you're really successful, and I'm not talking about financially successful, but I'm talking about successful in life. When you're really successful, it's knowing that you are enough, whether or not you are producing or creating value or earning. I shouldn't say creating value. I should just say producing and earning, because you can create value and it might not be nothing to nobody else, but it means a lot to you. So that is when you're successful. That's the true empowerment. Like, you can look at the girl and compare yourself, the girl next to you, and compare yourself because she's, you know, taking all the fancy trips and driving all the cars. But in the meantime, she's burnt out and miserable for the most part. Not all of them, but a lot of people are, because they haven't prioritized their rest. They're prioritizing performance over everything.
I got some follow-up questions to that. I'm gonna start with you when we come back. But let's take a quick break
Okay.
and come back, and let's deep dive a little bit more into that, Joe.
Got quiet after that. All right, go ahead. Let's go. Let's go.
Are you a Black business owner looking to expand your reach? Well, has Fly Nubian Money got good news for you? We are building a Black business directory to connect you with customers who need your services. And here is the best part. It is absolutely free. Email us at info@realvirtual.net. Send us your business name. Tell us a little bit about what you do, you know, what services you offer, your website address, and your contact information. That's it. Together, we are going to build and circulate the Black dollar. Get listed today and start connecting with people who are probably already looking for you.
Welcome back. So, Joe, going a little bit deeper on what you said from your professional perspective, how does the mindset that we currently have, what our culture is doing to us, and our own, I guess, lack of self-awareness to even deep dive and think about what success looks like and what we should be going for. What is that actually doing to our mental health from your professional opinion? And how can we collaborate and support each other as a community to even help? Because I think it's going to be a community-wide effort to get us there.
Yeah. It creates hyper independence, first of all, right? Which is not a flex, y'all. That's not a flex. Okay, that's a trauma response. And, you know, and then we're talking about exhaustion, and then sadness, and then more fear. Because you have to suppress your feelings of exhaustion, because if you say I'm tired, then what are you? Are you not a girl boss? You're not, you know what I'm saying? You're you don't have the black girl magic if you don't say, hey, look, I'm tired. I'm tired. And y'all saying I'm tired, and I'm proud of y'all for saying that. But sometimes there's no safe space to express that. Like, you all are, you know, entrepreneurs and running your own races. But some of these people is running this corporate races on a hamster wheel, and they can't say that I'm tired because they feel like they're labels them as less than or lazy, and they have to constantly, secure their value. So there's that emotional burnout that happens, and then the physical burnout that follows it. You know, high blood pressure and on all the other things that come along with wearing yourself out. The body keeps score. Go read that book. It's a real thing. Your body will tell you that you are burning yourself out. And a lot of us are dying younger like this woman we're talking about today, because overworked and overwhelmed without rest and healing and proper care. You losing connection in your relationships. You're losing purpose and joy. And then you sound kind of like, and you give me, if I'm misinterpreting what Tracy Ellis Ross said the other day, but then you start to maybe grieve the cost of doing all of that work, right, in the end. And you look back and say, well, was that worth it? Was that worth it? So to answer your question, Nicole, you're doing a lot to yourselves by, constantly overworking yourselves and putting that stigma on. If you don't secure the bag and you don't got black girl magic, then, saying you ain't. Black girl magic is resting. That's the magic. Rest, black girl, rest.
Now, who got bars now?
Amen. Let the church say.
And I've said it before, trading capes for crayons. Superheroes are what they expect us to be. They carry the weight of the world on their back. They're the ones that's doing everything, and you're on demand. Everybody's expecting you to do it. But at the end of the day, if you missed one thing, then all of a sudden it's like, were you who you said you were? Were you as good as you said? However, we're royalty. And so knowing that we're royalty, you still can get the job done. But with a queen, self-care comes first. And it's not selfish, it's strategic. I was listening to you say exhaustion, and that leads to fear, and that leads to shame. It also leads to the imposter syndrome, because you are looking to the left, looking to the right. Everybody else is doing it. So maybe I can't keep up. What's wrong with me? Marlo, what do you think?
Run your own race. I teach my team. We are individual contributors to one goal. You need to have on blinders. You need to be looking at how you get to the end of the race. I ran track. One thing I know, a great runner is never looking to the side. You might do a little glance to see how far I burnt her, but nobody is running a race looking to the side, because you could stumble, you could fall, you could trip. And you lose speed. You will lose speed not focusing on whatever the goal is. So I say, run your own race. If it looks like you're behind, change your mindset, because you're not behind. You running your race. Now you trying to run somebody else's race, yeah, you're behind. You trying to run your neighbor's race, you are absolutely in the wrong race, right? But if you run your own race at your own pace, you're going to get there. And who cares if your classmate got there at 26, you got there at 46? Who are those mile markers for? You are creating unnecessary stress in a life that already has unnecessary stress. Give yourself some grace and run your own race. I teach this to young professionals all the time. Do not try to outdo your neighbor. It is a fool's errand. Run your race.
Got it. Tiara, so I even saw somebody in the chat say, hey, I'm proud of Tiara because she's figuring it out. Apparently, we weren't the only ones worried about you being Miss Black Hollywood doing everything, that you have mastered some stuff. So, what do you say?
I say, it's so funny because Black Lexicon asks if mentally, if my plate is full. And it's so funny because sometimes I feel that way. And sometimes I feel like I'm doing a lot. And sometimes I feel like I'm balancing a lot of things. But thank God for therapy every Tuesday. I ain't stopped going. I've been going there for years now. And I went to her actually because, if I can just be really transparent, I felt like I was losing. I felt anxious all the time because I was like, I'm supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be doing there. I'm putting in all this work. When is it going to come? When am I going to be the female Steve Jobs? I don't know. When am I going to be, whatever it is that I saw in my mind. But going through these couple years, I've been like, is that really what I want? Like, where'd I get that from? And even if I am comparing myself to, let's say, Oprah is almost 70 years old. I am 42 years old. I got some time. She got 25, 30 years on me, right? So just like trying to compare apples to oranges is not the answer. So I think that it's relaxed me a little bit.
Well, the thing of it is, I mean, one, kudos to you on therapy. One of the things I ask, is what we can do for each other to support each other as a community to make, and I hear Marlo saying, telling her team that, hey, we got to focus. There's actually stats. This just isn't us, pontificating. There's stats to support this. In the 2020 Gallup survey, they found that 43% of Black workers in America reported working longer hours, but experiencing more work-related stress compared to their white colleagues, driven by the societal pressures that they have to overperform. Also, according to the American Psychological Association, 60% of Black Americans report high levels of stress, often stemming from societal pressures, work expectations, and racial discrimination. And I'll add to that, some of it that you put on yourself. The World Health Organization officially recognized burnout as an occupational phenomenon in 2019, noting that long-term work stress without adequate rest can lead to mental and physical exhaustion, including cardiovascular disease and depression, which is exactly what I said. Stress is the number one killer. And that last statistic actually was before COVID in the worldwide pandemic. So just think now of how much more that is and how much more people would put on themselves to try to get up. So looking at everything that we've talked about, I want to bring it back. So, for those of you all who may have joined late, we're remembering Chef Quitico, who she was a chef who had a business and she was thriving and she was doing her thing, but she was telling people on social media, I'm tired, I'm exhausted. And she was young with a successful business, but she was exhausted and trying to keep pushing and pushing and pushing until she just didn't wake up. And so now we are without a brilliant mind and an entrepreneur who was doing so much in her community, who people were watching. But I mean, what are we to do other than to honor her by trying to learn how we can do it differently and looking at, what are the things that we're glorifying? Is the hustle culture overrated? Because that extrapolates even to corporate.
You know what? I think this is a great time. Wait a minute, to watch this next video. Yeah, can we go to the next video? Because I want you guys to watch it. I want y'all to watch it.
Do we have to literally do this shit forever? We have to wake up. Thank God we wake up though, right? But we have to work and we have to fucking hustle forever. And I'm tired of it. Like, I'm so tired of going some more. It's exhausting. It's draining. But this is life, right? Like, I don't understand how to get off of this, like, hamster wheel. How do we stop having to just do so much? Oh, it's a lot.
That's an understatement. It's more than a lot.
Yeah.
That is an understatement. When you look at the average Black woman and everything that we do and what's on our shoulders, whether it's at work, if you have a business, if you're a mother, many of us are caregivers for our older generation and or a younger generation. We're the ones our girlfriends, our friends come to seek advice. And a lot of times it's hard for us to just say that, I'm swimming in it, that I'm exhausted, So, but I guess, are there changes that we can make in our homes and our workplaces that would move the needle on this? Do we even wait for our jobs and, our business partners and ourselves to create a better work-life balance, especially Black people, our mortality rate is a lot lower. We die faster and we die of the things that are contributed to stress. So how do we change that? Do we wait for the workplace? Do we change it in our own workplaces? How do we get there?
You know, we actually have one last video on stress. Now, I'm sorry, I keep
Well,
throwing
let's
these
watch the
videos out,
video
but I
then.
want to watch the video. I want to watch the video, and then I want to end up on our final thoughts because we're right. I want to
Yeah.
answer the question around. Watch the video, and then you can give us a final question to give with our final thought. So let's go to that next video.
When you are burnt out, the remedy is not getting rest.
As someone that was laid off this past March, who was relieved to be laid off from my big tech job, I'm here to tell you that sleep and vacation and throwing money to those things is not the answer. It wasn't until maybe a month in where I'm like, damn, I'm still burnt out. I'm still very forgetful. I'm still blanking out. I still have those moments a little bit because I'm a work in progress. But I started seeing a doctor, and the doctor was like, look, your blood pressure is fine, but clearly you need to manage your stress better. He recommended I see a therapist, develop a new routine. And it wasn't until I started like developing a new routine in the morning, in the afternoon, practicing self-preservation that I started to feel better. Started saying no, started taking walks and like just thinking about my day differently. That's when I started to feel better.
I like the fact that she said the answer is no. If I was going to sum this all up, the key thing is no is a full sentence. It doesn't have to be no because, no but, no and, no period. And I think that might be the cure to a lot of this. Even telling yourself no sometimes. Nope, we're not doing that. We're gonna take a nap. Tiara, before we went on break, you were hitting on some stuff, and you look like you had a question. Go ahead, give us your question, because I know that you over there. I saw it.
No, you know what? I don't really have a question. I think we could definitely go to final thoughts because I want to give us enough time today to really just for you personally, like what are these things like and everything that you've learned, just listening to what happened to Quita, thinking about those times when you yourself have been exhausted. If there is something that could be just one main thought that people can take away and apply immediately, what would that be? What would it be? Because we can have all of these conversations, but it's like I want somebody to walk away with something and say, today I'm going to do this because Joe said it or Nicole said it, or what is that one thing that we can do right now to change our lives from, or change ourselves from being exhausted? And I'm gonna start with Joe.
I'm gonna go straight to your success is not defined by capitalism. Okay, that's what if you want to take away one thing from what I said today, I want it to be that, that catch up. And, I know black women, like I know that generationally y'all been locked out of spaces and, the gatekeepers, hold y'all away from things. So that catch up at any cost mentality is in y'all DNA and it feels like it's necessary, but your success is not defined by capitalism. I want you to ask yourself what success looks like outside of your bank account. What does it look like? What does it feel like in your body? When does your body feel successful? How about that? How about switch it up to that one? When does your body feel successful? I like that a lot. So we're gonna go with that, and then answer that. Listen to that. What does success feel like in my body? Not what I've been told, and not what I've observed or compare myself to, but just let's stick with that. What does success feel like in my body? And there's my website, y'all. All my socials are on there now. So go there and connect with me. Come join tomorrow night. We're doing Vulnerability is the New Sexy, and we have a great episode for y'all. It's 2 male therapists, 2 female therapists. I really want to get y'all in them comments and tap in. I want to have a more inclusive and expanded conversation. So not because I want to be popular, but because I want to increase the conversation, because that's how we get better as a community. So come in and tap in with me, please.
Yeah, that is how
subscribe.
we get.
Subscribe to the damn channel.
Yeah, which you can find on your website.
On my website. Bang.
So you can Google vulnerability or search Vulnerability is the New Sexy on YouTube and follow. Yes?
Bang, bang,
yes.
boom.
Please do that right now. Right now, y'all.
Right now.
Okay, Nicole, I'm gonna come to you on this on this next thought. What is one thing? What's the one thing?
I've already said it. The one thing is no. People die every day. And you know what? The world goes on. All the people who will celebrate you today and good job, and you're trying to impress because you're doing all the things and being so busy, will be the same one who steps over your body the day after and keeps on moving. And so, being that I am the attorney that works with founders, the one thing that I want to say is one, learn to say no, but also be wise and make sure that you are set up for when you do pass away, whether you have a business or not, that if you don't have an estate plan, that you at least have a letter of intent. And a letter of intent just says, this is where y'all can find all my bills. This is where my passwords are, who's going to speak at my funeral, if I want to be cremated, all of that stuff. Take that step. And so my gift to you guys is if you go to LOI, which is a letter of intent.nicolecompton.com, put in FNM for Fly Nubian Money as your code. Go get you a letter of intent. Fill it out today because we're all going to die. The best thing that you can do for your loved ones while you're alive is say no so that you can survive. And after you pass away, which we all will, leave them the instructions on what you want to see them do with your stuff, with your business, and make sure that they learn from you to be responsible.
Marlo, what do you say?
Prioritize you. Take care of yourself. Don't invest so much of yourself into things that you forget that you are a person, right? You need to listen to Joe and take assessment of what success is like in your body, but also realistically assess what is success to you. Because maybe success, the Maybach looks nice or the Lamborghini or whatever, but do you really want it? Do I really want it? Ask yourself that over and over again every time you get ready to make a new move, every time you get ready to adopt something into your life that's going to take time away from the things that you love, and that's going to take energy away from your body. Is this what I really want? And that'll help you determine if you should move forward or not, realistically, not on some kind of, surface level BS, some type of shallowness. Is this what I want in terms of a quality of life? I think we keep forgetting about quality of life as we start to acquire quantities of things. So quality of life always wins for me, and you should adopt that in your life as well. I promise you, you will be happier. But while you're getting there, if you are looking to level up your business, you want to get found, you want a little bit of that automation that Nicole was talking about, you want to make it a little bit easier to make that money while you are sleeping, resting your body, contact the Marlo Group. Wow, I don't know my website, themarlogroup.com. And schedule a consultation with us. We'll look at your website on the front end, on the back end, gauge your audience and your customer experience, and try to make it a little bit easier for you to have a larger footprint in the marketplace so that when people are looking for what you offer, they actually find you. Rest, y'all.
I love it. I love it. And I'm really big on my final thoughts is just this. I'm really big on purpose and getting to live out all of your soul's desires, right? Especially as a creative person, I do believe that we have multiple things to give. God gave us so many gifts, and you can have all of those things, but not at the same time. So I'll just say, as we live our lives in chapters, do a thing, right? Like, do a thing, do it, experience it for however long you want to. And then when you're ready to move on to that next thing. But trying to do all of those things at one time is only going to stress you out and kill you. And you won't be able to do all of the things because you stressed out, right? So I would just say, I live by the book, The One Thing, Nicole, don't I? I live by that.
She
I love
taught
it.
me the one thing. I said it earlier in the show, the one thing. Thank
The
you,
One
Tiara.
Thing is my favorite. It's my favorite book. I really do love it. Now, sometimes I don't always get it right because at this point, what I end up doing was creating a One Thing, the Real Network, my company, and under that umbrella, helping everybody do all the things I can do, right? I produce, I write, I do all the things, right? But under this one umbrella, I'm able to be creative every single day of my life, whether it's for me, like maybe I don't want to start another podcast, but I can help somebody else do it. And so it allows me to get my creative out, and also, but not having to run it, having to run everything. So I would just suggest that, like, if you can find a way to kind of encapsulate or conglomerize whatever it is that you want to do in a way that helps others, but you don't have to do every single thing, do that. I promise you, it's still just as fulfilling. My name is Tiara Williams. I'm also known as Miss Black Hollywood. I actually have a workshop coming up, a story selling workshop, helping other people. I sold, but I don't have the flyer, so I can't give it to y'all right now. But I'm gonna give it to y'all tomorrow on the show. But yeah, I love you guys so much. We are over our time. I thank you so much, Nicole. Thank you for leading. This was Nicole's first time leading and hosting our show as the lead. She did a wonderful job. And Marlo, I appreciate y'all. I always love, this is my favorite time of the day to just come and clock tea with my sisters, as Lauren would say. I clock it. We got to clock it, right? Come and clock something and really just understand and leave a little stronger than we came. And I'm hoping that everybody, our normal, our regular suspects in the comment section, double A, and I thank you, Lala. I hope you feel better. There's just so many people that support us, and I love y'all so much for it. We will see you tomorrow. If you obviously you are here, so you absolutely know that we go live every day, Monday through Friday, for 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But if you don't know, and this is your first time, come on back. All you have to do is text the word Queens. That's QUEENS to 87948, and you will receive notifications for when we go live. So with that being said, we gonna get on out of here, y'all. We gonna get on out of here, and we will see y'all tomorrow, same time. I think somebody else said same back channel. But we will see you guys tomorrow. We love you.